Hello everybody, this is Ina and I would like to show you in more detail my new junk journal, Christmas Angel. I believe that as the year is approaching its end, the need for a pause, for contemplation, for comfort, for warmth is particularly important. I have created this junk journal with an idea to offer as much pleasure as possible for your eyes, for your fingers, and for your soul. But before I start talking about the journal itself, I would like to note that it comes with 2 additional items, which does not mean, of course, that there will be no surprise bonuses. So, here is a small pocket format diary from a Paris cafe for 1904. It has the same lovely blue color as the journal, and there is a small mirror at the end. There is also this crystal ball, which I find absolutely magic. It's quite heavy. You can really feel its weight on the palm of your hand. It comes from a very old chandelier. Without having further detailed, I would not be able to tell you whether it's vintage or antique. I have transformed it into a pendant like this, with this antique bobbin lace. It can be used as a Christmas tree decoration, as a presse-papier, or simply as a sun catcher. Now let's talk about the journal itself. Its cover measures 23 per 16 centimeters and its spine is 7 centimeters large. The interior pages are of an A5 format, that is 21 per 15 centimeters. There are 5 signatures and about 130 pages, both sides counted. And its weight is quite significant. It's 1 kilogram, 160 grams without the tassel. Yes, speaking of the tassel, it's removable, which means that it can be used elsewhere, let's say with a key ring. It is entirely handmade. I have used 2 authentic vintage chandelier parts. There are still the original wires here. They are old but quite robust and nice, so I've decided to keep them. I have also used, where is it? This very beautiful vintage pendant. There are some fire polished Bohemian glass beads, and I have added some metal charms and antique and vintage fine laces. Let's put it aside for the time being. The journal has a hard cover, entirely handmade. I used a heavy 3 mm thick chipboard for that. The spine is rounded and has 3 ridges. And the front and the back are covered with genuine silk velvet. Here is a sample for you to have a look. It's really gorgeous and pleasant to touch. Here on the spine there is a very soft and nice lamb leather. Here is a sample. I was hesitating a lot which side to put it up. It's so nice from both sides, but I think it has turned out very nice like this. And really it is so soft and pleasant to touch that you would want to caress this journal all the time. The front cover is decorated with an angel image printed on cotton. There is also an extract from a Christmas song that I have taken from this book. It's a very old book, Noëls Anciens, The Ancient Christmas. I do not have the date, but it must be old. Here it's noted Société de Saint-Augustin Bruges. I have reinforced the paper with some Tyvek. There is also a protective coating of Mod Podge. The same concerns these two fascicles from an antique Christmas postcard. And as you can see, I have added some hand stitching in addition to gluing, just to make sure they are securely attached. You can also see to the left this very beautiful antique embroidery on fine white muslin. I have attached it in a way to respect its delicacy and the fineness of the tissue. This button, a glass and metal button, is also very old, of the 19th century. I have another one to show you. Here it is. Isn't it lovely? And this small ribbon is also quite special. In fact, this is the original register ribbon. Here is, you can see, a small piece of it, taken from this very old diary dating 1890 of the Au Bon Marché French department store. There will be more paper from this diary inside. Sorry. And this button, it's a ceramic button, handmade. Unfortunately, I bought it so long time ago that I would not be able to give you more details about the artist. As you can see, the corners are protected with metal corners, and the closure is done by two metal rings attached to the cover. I really love this type of closure because it's very versatile, and it can be used with whatever ribbon or lace you prefer. I have put here some vintage lace. Yes, and here you can see some handmade crochet lace. Let's have a look inside now. First of all, the hidden spine. I have used a 5-hole pamphlet stitch and the wax linen thread to attach the signatures to the hidden spine. And for the hidden spine, I have used this blue cotton from a vintage baby sheet. You will see more of it later on in the journal. So here to the left, you can see a tuck spot made of a vintage lace collar decorated with a button. Inside there is a very old card of Chocolaterie de Guebel. and a sweet vintage photo of these two children. There is a date here. It was made in 1930. To the right, there is another tax pot made of an antique French ledger. I will show it to you in a moment. And decorated with this beautiful light tuile. I will show you the tuile at first. So here it is. It's taken from a very old baby carriage cover, something like this. It's really gorgeous. And I will show you the ledger in a second. Oh, this ledger is heavy, I am telling you. It's enormous. This is an antique ledger of a French tailor of La Rochelle. Wait a second. The scrapbooking I used is mostly from Stamperia. Here you can see two tuck pots. This one is made from a vintage cotton napkin with a bobbin lace trim. At this one there is some antique tuile. Here I have put a postcard with a view of one of the Paris churches. It was written and sent on the 1st December 1903. And yes, I should specify, all the papers and cards in this journal, whenever they have one specific date, they are dated December. Like this, I wanted that this journal gives you the possibility to have a glimpse into what had happened for somebody else during different Decembers. And like in this card, the person who wrote it speaks of the beauty of Paris. The next paper, in quite poor condition I must admit, is a fee note from a veterinary doctor of the 1st December 1933. Here I have put a tag made of the paper from this vintage advertisement pocket. And I have used the text from the book Noëls Anciens that we already talked about. And here is some antique bobbin lace of Le Puy. Behind you have some journaling space. And the background page is from the same antique French tailor's ledger that I have already shown you, and I have decorated it with the face-cut of a Christmas wreath from some Italian Tessotti gift wrapping paper. There is a brand looking like a metal nail here to which the wreath is attached. At the next page, there is a face cut from the rice paper of a deer and a small piece of a vintage Christmas cotton napkin. And here to the right, there is a page from the jewelry and watches catalogue Fabrique Tribaudot de Besançon of 1935. And here, this page, there are so many things to tell you about. First of all, this very nice lace pocket. The lace is so-called tape lace. It is known as the lace of Luxeuil. It's a town situated in the region of Bourgogne-Franche-Comté in eastern France. In fact, this lace became very popular during the Second Empire, when in 1856 Napoleon III with his wife, in fact his wife, she came to Luxeuil for some spa treatment, and she received a sunshade made in this technique as a gift. And since then, it was their typical technique of lace making. Since then, this lace became very, very popular. And the technique consists in firstly making a drawing on some paper, then attaching to the paper with a needle some tapes, delicate tapes like this, overlapping as necessary, and then filling the spaces with some embroidery, and then the paper is taken away, so it gives this beautiful effect. Here you can see an antique glass button. I found this is an interesting idea of attaching, of making a tuck spot, but it's just, you can open it, but it's just decorative, I would say. Inside, I have put a very nice chromolithographic card, or a chromo, with a golden background. The term chromolithography describes the printing process, which was invented in 1837. Basically, the colors were printed one after another, deposited on a lithographic stone. I like the image of this sweet girl with her kitten, nice colors. This particular chromo has no advertisement on it. Usually these cards were used as an advertising tools for various shops and department stores in the 19th and early 20th century in France and in some other countries. Then we have a deposit slip by SNCF, the French Railways Company, of the 1st December 1956. So you remember, everything happens in December in this journal. And another thing I would like to mention here is this scrap image. This is a scrap fabricated according to traditional methods in Germany by the Ernst Freihof Company. And the background is from another antique French ledger. It's an 1899-1800 ledger of a notary from Isère. We will see more pages of it. I will show the ledger itself in a moment. Here I have decorated the ledger page a little bit with some stencil stamping. Otherwise, it's ready for journaling. There is an original vintage label, crème de cacao. There is another page from the Christmas songs book, Noëls Anciens, that you have seen already. At the back, I have put this beautiful image of in France. It is called, this flower is called as the Christmas rose. It comes from the Italian Tassote gift wrapping paper. To the right, there is some journaling space. You probably recognize already the first antique French ledger that I have shown you of 18... Ah no, I did not show it to you yet. Yes, this is another ledger of a Beaujolais wine merchant, and this is the oldest one that I have in this journal. It is from 1850s. I will show it to you in a second. So, I have decorated this page with a very old, beautiful trim. This is its natural aging color. I did not age it artificially. Here there is an extract from the 1st December 1890 of the diary of Bon Marché that you have seen already. The next page has some vintage handmade embroidery, and the lower and the upper boards are decorated with the vintage French bobbin lace from Le Puy. At the next page, there is a vintage French wine label, original of course. There is a card, a blank postcard, quite old, with a view of another church in Paris, Sainte Clotilde. And there is also a letter of a shoemaking factory to one of its clients of the 8th December 1920. And here at the back there is also another December page from another diary. I will show it to you in a moment. Here it is. It's the diary of the department store Maison du Petit Saint-Thomas of 1904. And before I continue, I have realized that I did not show you from where I have taken this paper. So here it is. There is a whole logbook bordereau de versement à la caisse générale, pardon, of SNCF. Now you have seen it. So where were we? Yes, here As you can see, there is plenty of journaling space, and I attached the embroidery by hand stitching. Next, there is another page from the Christmas songs book. I have decorated it with a nice trim from the tuile, from the antique baby cover that you have seen already, with this nice elegant stamp of a Christmas tree.